Every time you doubt yourself, you're letting fear steal your opportunity. Don't let fear win. You don't need anyone's approval to believe in yourself. The most important voice you need to listen to is your own. You are stronger, more capable, and more resilient than you give yourself credit for. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you're capable of getting there. That's it. Self-doubt holds so many people back from reaching their full potential, and it doesn't have to be that way for you. In the next few minutes, we're going to dig into why you should never doubt yourself. We'll talk about how to push through the uncertainty, how to build your confidence, and how to start believing in your own strength. This isn't just about being positive for the sake of it. This is about real, lasting change that will help you see yourself and your potential in a new light. If you've been stuck in that cycle of doubt, if you've been wondering if you're really capable, then keep watching. By the end of this, you'll have a clear understanding of how to shut down those negative thoughts and step into the power that's always been inside you. You've got this, and we're about to prove it. Stay with me. Let's dive in. Number 1, self-doubt is the silent killer of success. How many times have you stopped yourself from going after something because that little voice in your head said, "What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail?" Maybe it was an opportunity that excited you, but instead of stepping forward, you hesitated, you waited, and before you knew it, the opportunity was gone. That's what self-doubt does. It doesn't come in like a storm. It doesn't shout at you. It creeps in, quietly, like a shadow. It makes you second-guess yourself. It keeps you from taking action when you should. And before you even realize it, doubt has built a wall between you and the life you want. I've seen this too many times. People with real talent, real drive, real potential, stuck, not because they weren't capable, not because they weren't smart enough, but because they let doubt take control. They talked themselves out of success before they even tried. Let me tell you something important. Doubt is not the truth. It's just fear in disguise. And fear is a liar. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you're not smart enough, that you're not capable. But none of that is real. The only thing real is what you decide to do in this moment. I want you to think about a time when you succeeded at something. Maybe it was something small, maybe it was something big, but remember that feeling, how good it felt to prove to yourself that you could do it. Now think about how different your life would be today if you had let doubt win back then. The truth is, you've already beaten doubt before. You've already overcome challenges, figured things out, pushed through when it was hard. But doubt has a way of making you forget that. It wants you to focus on your mistakes, on your failures, on all the reasons why things might not work out. But listen to me, your failures do not define you. Your mistakes do not define you. What defines you is what you do next. Most people never reach their full potential, not because they lack talent, but because they stop themselves before they even start. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait for confidence to magically appear. But confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. You don't wake up one day suddenly feeling fearless. You build confidence by taking action, by proving to yourself that you can figure things out as you go. You weren't born knowing how to do everything you do today. You learned, you adapted, you made mistakes, and you kept going. That's how you grow. The problem is most people are too focused on what could go wrong. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? But here's what they never ask. What if I succeed? What if this works? What if I'm more capable than I ever thought? I want you to shift your focus. Stop feeding the doubt. Stop giving power to your fears. Instead, focus on what you can do today. Not next month, not next year, today. Doubt only wins if you let it. It only stops you if you allow it. The way to beat it is to take action. Start small. Do one thing that moves you forward. Show yourself that you are stronger than the doubt in your head. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have built great things, the ones who have achieved real success. Do you think they never had doubts? Of course they did. The difference is they didn't let doubt make their decisions for them. If you wait for the fear to disappear, you'll be waiting forever. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you'll never start. The only way forward is to step past the doubt and take action anyway. Right now you have two choices. You can listen to that voice in your head that says you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you should wait. Or you can decide that today is the day you stop holding yourself back. This is your life. No one is going to hand you confidence. No one is going to do the work for you. But I'll tell you this, If you start now, if you take that first step, you will look back one day and realize that doubt was never the real problem. The only problem was that you believed it. Number 2, the power of a strong mindset. Let's talk about something that can change everything for you. The power of your mind, the way you think, the way you talk to yourself, the way you see yourself. It all determines where you go in life. Because here's the truth. The strongest weapon you have isn't money, it isn't talent, it isn't luck. It's your mind. And if you don't control it, if you don't train it, if you don't take charge of the way you think, doubt will control you. Fear will control you. And you will never reach the level you're capable of. I've seen this happen too many times. People with incredible potential, people who could do amazing things, but their own thoughts hold them back. They let negative thinking stop them before they even start. They convince themselves they're not smart enough, not strong enough, not ready enough, and they believe it. They don't even question it. But let me tell you something. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Just because your mind tells you that you can't do something doesn't mean you actually can't. The problem is most people don't realize that they can change the way they think. They assume that doubt, fear, and insecurity are just part of who they are. But that's not true. Those things are just habits, mental habits that have been repeated so many times. They feel permanent, but they're not. Just like you learn to doubt yourself, you can learn to believe in yourself. Just like you develop the habit of negative thinking, you can develop the habit of positive thinking. It's all about training your mind. Think about it. If you spend years telling yourself you're not good enough, what do you think is going to happen? You'll start acting like you're not good enough. You'll start making decisions that hold you back. You'll stay small, even when you could be doing something bigger. Not because you aren't capable, but because you believe you aren't. And that belief shapes everything. But now I want you to imagine the opposite. Imagine if, for the next year, you told yourself every single day, I am capable, I am strong, I can figure things out, I am going to succeed. Imagine how different your life would look. You'd take more risks. You'd stop holding yourself back. You'd take action, even when it was uncomfortable. Not because everything suddenly became easy, but because you trained your mind to support you instead of fight against you. That's what successful people do. They don't wait for confidence to magically appear. They create it. They train their mind every single day to focus on what's possible instead of what's wrong. They stop feeding their doubts and start feeding their belief. And over time, that belief becomes unshakable. So how do you start? How do you train your mind to be strong? The first step is awareness. You have to start paying attention to your thoughts. Most people let negative thoughts run through their mind all day without even noticing. They tell themselves, I'm not good at this. I'll probably fail. I'm not smart enough. And because they don't question it, they accept it as the truth. But you have to start catching yourself. You have to start recognizing when you're thinking in a way that's hurting you instead of helping you. And when you do, you have to stop and ask yourself, is this really true? Because most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, doubt is just fear talking. And fear is not reality. Fear is just your mind trying to protect you from discomfort. But discomfort is part of growth. You don't get stronger by avoiding challenges. You don't build confidence by staying comfortable. You build confidence by pushing through discomfort, by proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. The next step is to start replacing those negative thoughts with something better. You can't just stop doubting yourself. You have to replace those doubts with belief. So when you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, stop and change it to, I can figure this out. When you think, I'm not ready, change it to, I will never be 100% ready, so I'm starting now. When you think, what if I fail, change it to, what if I succeed? It's going to feel uncomfortable at first. Your mind is going to resist it. That's normal. You're breaking an old habit, and habits don't disappear overnight. But if you keep doing it, day after day, week after week, something incredible happens. One day you wake up and realize that you don't doubt yourself the way you used to. You don't hesitate as much. You don't stop yourself before you start. And when that moment comes, everything changes. Because now you're free. Free to take action. Free to go after what you want. Free to live the life you were meant to live. Let me tell you something. The strongest people you see, the most successful people you admire, they are not special. They are not lucky. They don't have some secret that you don't have. The only difference is that they made a choice to stop doubting, a choice to start believing, a choice to train their mind to work for them instead of against them. And now, you have that same choice. You can let your mind keep running the way it always has, full of fear, full of doubt, full of hesitation, or you can take control. You can start training it, you can start feeding it with the thoughts that push you forward, instead of hold you back. This is not a one-time thing. This is a daily practice. But if you commit to it, if you make the decision right now that you will no longer be controlled by doubt, your entire life will change. Because once your mind is strong, once you believe in yourself without hesitation, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can stop you. Number 3. Your past does not define you. Let me tell you something important. Your past does not define you. I don't care what mistakes you've made. I don't care how many times you've failed. I don't care what people have told you about yourself. The only thing that defines you is what you decide to do next. That's it. Not your failures, not your regrets, not the things you wish you could go back and change. Too many people walk through life carrying the weight of their past like a heavy bag on their back. They let their mistakes follow them. They let their failures become their identity. They believe that because they messed up once, they'll mess up again. That because they failed before, they'll always fail. And that belief, that's what keeps them stuck. That's what keeps them from ever really moving forward. But listen to me. The past is done. It's over. You can't go back and change it, no matter how much you wish you could. And the more time you spend living in it, the more of your future you waste. Every second you spend regretting, every moment you spend replaying old mistakes, is a moment you could be using to build something better. I know what it's like to look back on your life and feel like you've wasted time, to feel like you should be further ahead than you are, to wonder if it's too late to turn things around. But let me tell you something, your life is not over. As long as you are breathing, you have time to change. As long as you wake up in the morning, you have another chance to do things differently. The question is, are you going to take it? Because here's what I see too often. People who hold on to their past so tightly, they never give themselves permission to move forward. They let guilt control them. They let shame eat away at their confidence. They let the opinions of others define their future. And the worst part, they don't even realize they're doing it. Maybe you've made bad decisions. Maybe you've let yourself down. Maybe you've let other people down. I'm not saying to ignore it. I'm not saying to pretend it never happened. What I'm saying is learn from it. Use it. Grow from it. But do not let it become a prison that keeps you from becoming who you were meant to be. Your past is just a lesson, not a life sentence. It's a chapter in your book, but it is not the whole story. And if you keep looking back, you're going to miss everything that's ahead of you. Because let me tell you, your future can be bigger than your past if you let it. But that's the key. You have to let it. You have to be willing to let go of what was so you can make room for what could be. You have to stop thinking that because you've struggled, you'll always struggle. You have to stop believing that because you made mistakes, you don't deserve success. That's not true. That's just doubt trying to keep you small. That's just fear trying to keep you in the same place. But you don't have to listen to it. The people who succeed in life are not the people who have never failed. They are not the people who have never made mistakes. They are the people who refuse to let their mistakes define them. They are the people who decided that their past was not going to control their future. And you can make that same decision right now, because the truth is, no one is keeping you stuck but you. It's not your past. It's not your failures. It's not the people who doubted you. It's you. It's the story you keep telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. And if you want to change your life, you have to change that story. You have to start telling yourself, I am not my past. I am not my mistakes. I am not the person I was before. You have to start believing that you are capable of more, that you are worthy of success, that you deserve to move forward. And then you take action. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, right now. Because if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never start. The only way to create a new future is to stop living in the past and start making changes today. It's not going to be easy. There will be days when doubt creeps in. There will be moments when you hear that voice in your head telling you that you can't do it, that you don't deserve a second chance, that you'll never be more than your past. And when that happens, you have to shut it down. You have to remind yourself that your past does not have the power to define you unless you give it that power. Number 4, stop comparing yourself to others. Let me ask you something. How many times have you looked at someone else's success and thought, why can't I do that? How many times have you compared yourself to someone who seems further ahead, smarter, stronger, or more accomplished? How often do you measure yourself against people who seem to have it all together? And in doing so, convince yourself that you're not good enough. It happens all the time. People spend so much energy looking at what others have, at what others are doing, that they forget to focus on themselves. And what does that do? It steals their confidence. It makes them doubt their abilities. It makes them feel like no matter what they do, it's never enough. But I want to tell you something right now. Comparing yourself to others is one of the fastest ways to destroy your potential. You are not them. They are not you. And that's a good thing. You weren't meant to follow someone else's path. You weren't meant to live according to someone else's timeline. You have your own journey. You have your own pace. And as long as you keep looking at someone else's success, you'll never see your own progress. I've seen too many people hold themselves back because they're too busy watching what everyone else is doing. They see someone else get a promotion and they start thinking they're behind. They see someone else making more money and they start questioning their worth. They see someone else achieving things they haven't yet, and suddenly they feel like they're failing. But let me tell you the truth. Someone else's success has nothing to do with your success. Their wins don't take away from your ability to win. Their progress doesn't mean you're falling behind. The only thing that matters is where you are, what you're doing, and whether you're improving. But here's the real problem. When you compare yourself to others, you're not even comparing fairly. You're looking at someone else's highlight reel and measuring it against your worst moments. You don't see their struggles. You don't see their failures. You don't see the nights they stayed up worrying, the days they doubted themselves, the years of effort they put in before anyone noticed. You just see the results. And then you look at your own life, at your struggles, at your failures, at your doubts, and you convince yourself you'll never get there. But that's not the truth. That's just a lie. Your mind is feeding you. You have no idea what someone else went through to get where they are. And you don't need to know, because their path isn't your path. Your only job is to focus on your own growth, your own journey, your own improvement. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. That's it. So let me ask you something else. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Have you learned something new? Have you taken a small step forward? Have you put in the effort to improve? Even just a little, because that's what really matters. Not how fast someone else is moving, not how successful they seem. The only thing that matters is that you are making progress. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you shouldn't be inspired by others. It's good to look at successful people and learn from them. It's good to see what's possible. But there's a big difference between being inspired and being discouraged. Inspiration says, if they can do it, I can too. Comparison says, I'll never be as good as them. Inspiration pushes you forward. Comparison holds you back. The truth is, you don't know how great you can be until you stop looking at everyone else and start focusing on your own potential. You don't know how far you can go until you stop worrying about where others are and start putting your energy into your own growth. And let me tell you, when you do that, when you commit to improving a little every single day, your life changes. Not all at once, not overnight, but over time. Because here's the thing about success. It's not about being the best in the world. It's about being the best you. It's not about doing things on someone else's timeline. It's about moving forward at your pace. And as long as you keep going, as long as you keep improving, you will get there. So let today be the day you stop comparing. Let today be the day you take your power back. Instead of looking at what others have, focus on what you can create. Instead of worrying about how far ahead someone else is, focus on how far you've come. Instead of measuring your worth by someone else's success, remind yourself that your journey is just as valuable. Because at the end of the day, the only competition that matters is the one between you and the person you were yesterday. And as long as you keep getting better, as long as you keep pushing forward, as long as you never stop growing, you will win. Number 5, success is built on challenges, not comfort. Let's talk about something that separates people who succeed from people who don't. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even motivation. It's discipline. Too many people rely on motivation to get things done. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until they're in the right mood. They wait for some magical moment where everything lines up perfectly. and they finally feel like taking action. But guess what? That moment rarely comes. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Some days you wake up feeling ready to take on the world, and other days you don't even feel like getting out of bed. If you rely on motivation, you're going to be inconsistent. You'll start something with excitement, but the second you lose that feeling, you'll stop. That's why most people quit. They think success is about feeling motivated all the time. It's not. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. It's making a commitment and sticking to it, no matter how you feel that day. It's deciding that your goals matter enough to put in the work, even when it's hard. Because let me tell you, it will be hard. There will be days when you're tired. There will be days when you're frustrated. There will be days when you doubt yourself. And those are the moments that test you. That's when most people quit. But if you have discipline, you don't quit. You keep going. Think about it. The most successful people in the world don't feel motivated every day. Do you think athletes always feel like training? Do you think successful entrepreneurs always feel like working long hours? Do you think the best in any field wake up every day excited to do the hard work? No, but they do it anyway. They've built the habit of discipline. They've trained themselves to take action, no matter how they feel. That's why they succeed. The truth is, the way you feel in the moment doesn't matter. What matters is what you do. If you only work hard when you feel like it, you'll never reach your full potential. You'll start things and never finish them. You'll have big dreams but no results. You'll wonder why nothing is changing. And it's because you're waiting for motivation instead of developing discipline. So how do you build discipline? You start by keeping promises to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, do it. If you tell yourself you're going to wake up early, wake up early. If you tell yourself you're going to work out, work out. If you tell yourself you're going to put in the effort, put in the effort. It's not about being perfect. It's about training yourself to follow through. Every time you do what you said you would, you build trust in yourself. And every time you break that promise, you weaken your discipline. It's not about making huge changes overnight. It's about doing small things consistently. If you can't stick to big commitments, start with small ones. Start with something simple. Set a goal and stick to it. And when it gets hard, when you don't feel like doing it, remind yourself, this is the moment that separates me from everyone else. This is the moment that matters. Because anyone can take action when they feel good. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated. But the ones who keep going when it's tough, those are the ones who win. Success is not about how talented you are. It's not about how lucky you are. It's not about how many resources you have. It's about how disciplined you are. It's about your ability to keep pushing forward, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about doing the work every single day, no matter what. And if you can do that, if you can build the habit of discipline, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Number 6, train your mind to speak positively about yourself. Life is not without its challenges. In fact, the path to success is paved with struggle. It's easy to look at others and think that they have it all together, that they somehow skipped over the hardships that you're facing. But let me tell you something. Struggles are not a sign that you're on the wrong path. In fact, they're proof that you're moving forward. Every challenge you face, every setback you encounter, every difficult moment you experience is an opportunity to grow stronger. You see, strength isn't built during the easy times. It's built in the difficult moments, when you feel like giving up, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders. That's when your character is forged. That's when your resilience is tested. That's when your strength is built. It's easy to feel good when everything is going well. It's easy to feel like you've got it all figured out when life is smooth. But true strength, true resilience, that comes from having to push through when everything seems to be working against you. There's a saying that goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. While it's a little dramatic, it holds a lot of truth. Every time you face a struggle, you are presented with two choices. You can either let it break you, or you can let it build you. And here's the thing about strength. It's not something you can get overnight. It's not something that magically appears when you need it. Strength is something you build, little by little through every challenge you face. Think about the most successful people you know. Do you think they've never had to overcome something? Do you think they've never faced obstacles that seemed impossible to get through? Absolutely not. They've been through their own struggles. They've faced their own setbacks. They've had their own moments of doubt. But the difference between them and those who quit is simple. They didn't give up. They didn't let their struggles define them. They used those challenges as stepping stones, as opportunities to grow, and as a way to get closer to their goals. It's easy to look at someone who's successful and think, they've had it easy. But the truth is, you don't know their story. You don't know the battles they fought behind the scenes. You don't know the nights they stayed up working, the times they felt like giving up, or the obstacles they had to overcome to get to where they are now. What you see on the outside is just a small part of the story. What you don't see is all the struggle that led to that success. But here's the thing. You have the same potential to build strength through struggle. Every time life throws a challenge your way, you have the opportunity to rise above it. You can either let it break you, or you can let it build you. And if you choose to let it build you, every challenge you face will make you stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. So the next time you face a setback or encounter a difficult moment, don't ask yourself, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow stronger? Because no matter what it is, no matter how hard it feels in the moment, there's always a lesson in it. There's always an opportunity to grow, to get better, and to become more than you were before. Strength isn't about being perfect. It's not about never struggling. It's not about always having it all together. Strength is about how you respond to the challenges life throws your way. It's about the courage to keep moving forward, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. It's about refusing to let your struggles define you, and using them to become stronger, more determined, and more focused on your goals. Number 7, keep moving forward, no matter what. That you have to fight your battles in isolation. And if you ask for help or lean on others, you're somehow weaker for it. But let me tell you something. You are not alone. You've never been alone in this journey, even when it feels like it, and you don't have to fight these battles by yourself. There are people around you who have fought harder, endured more, and still managed to push through. I know that sometimes it can feel like you're the only one going through something. You look around and it seems like everyone else has it figured out, that their lives are perfect, that they don't face the same struggles. But that's the thing, what we see on the outside is often just a small snapshot of someone's life. What we don't see is the work, the sacrifices, the late nights, the self-doubt, and the heartache they've been through to get to where they are today. No one has it easy, and no one's success is truly achieved in isolation. There's strength in numbers, there's power in community. And it's important to understand that you don't have to face the challenges you're dealing with all by yourself. There are people who have been through similar things, who know what it feels like to struggle, to feel lost, to feel like giving up. And those people can offer you perspective, wisdom, and support. I'm not saying you should rely on others to do the work for you. You still have to put in the effort. You still have to do the hard work. But there is no shame in seeking help. There is no shame in asking for guidance. There is no shame in reaching out for support when you need it. And in fact, doing so shows strength, not weakness. It shows that you're wise enough to recognize that we all need help sometimes, and that you're willing to accept it when it's offered. The truth is, the most successful people are those who've learned the power of connection. They've learned that asking for help doesn't make them weaker. It makes them stronger. They've learned that collaboration and learning from others can propel them forward in ways they never could have imagined. There's a reason why some of the most successful people in the world surround themselves with mentors, advisors, friends, and colleagues. They know that the journey is better when it's shared. So don't let pride or fear hold you back from reaching out to others. Don't let the fear of looking weak or incapable stop you from connecting with those who can help you. There are people in your life, and people you haven't even met yet, who have the experience, the knowledge, and the compassion to help you navigate through your toughest moments. All you need to do is be open to receiving that help, and to lean on others when you need to. But even more than that, remember that others are looking to you for support too. You're not just a person who needs help. You're also someone who has the ability to lift others up. We all have something to offer, something to give. Whether it's a listening ear, a word of encouragement, or the lessons we've learned through our own struggles, we all have the power to impact someone else's life in a meaningful way. So take a step back for a moment. Look at the people around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, even the people you meet on a daily basis. Everyone you encounter is facing something. Everyone you meet has their own battles, their own obstacles, their own challenges. And sometimes all it takes is a simple act of kindness, a gesture of support, or a shared experience to help someone through a tough time. You don't have to face everything alone. You never have to feel like you're walking this path all by yourself. You can lean on the people who care about you, and you can offer your support to others in return. Because here's the thing, life is a series of challenges and struggles, but it's also about connection, about shared experiences, and about helping one another. When you allow yourself to lean on others, you make it easier for them to lean on you as well. You create a cycle of support and encouragement that lifts everyone up. And when you do that, you realize that you're not just surviving, you're thriving together. So don't shy away from the support that's available to you. Reach out when you need to, and offer help to those who need it. The journey becomes so much more powerful when we face it together. Success is not about being the strongest, the smartest, or the most capable on your own. It's about understanding that you don't have to do everything alone. It's about knowing that others have fought harder battles and that you can learn from their experiences. It's about being willing to accept help when it's offered and to offer help to others in return. And when you embrace this, when you realize the power of connection and community, you'll find that you're stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you ever imagined. Number 8, no one is born confident. It's built over time. You don't need to rush. Success isn't a race. And life isn't about sprinting to the finish line. If you've been feeling like time is slipping away, like you're running out of opportunities, and the pressure to move fast is building up, let me just take a moment to remind you. The journey is not about speed, it's about progress. It's about making consistent steps toward your goals, no matter how small they might seem. When we look around, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Everyone seems to be moving faster, reaching new heights, and making things happen. It's easy to get caught in the comparison game. You see someone else launching a business, buying a house, traveling the world, or hitting a major milestone, and you start to question yourself. You might think, why am I not there yet? Or what's wrong with me? But let me tell you, there is no one timeline for success. You don't have to follow the exact path that anyone else has taken. Your journey is unique, and it's okay if it's taking you a little longer to get where you want to be. The key to success isn't about taking huge leaps every single day. It's about moving forward, one step at a time. Think about a staircase. You don't jump up 5 or 10 steps in one go. You take it one step at a time, and each step, no matter how small it feels, is progress. The problem arises when we feel like we need to take giant strides every single day. But that's not how life works. In reality, it's those consistent, smaller steps that will get you further than you think. They compound, they add up, and over time, they make a huge difference. This is why it's so important to stop trying to rush the process. It's not about how fast you get there. It's about making sure that every step you take is leading you in the right direction. If you rush, you risk missing the lessons along the way. You risk skipping the growth that comes with taking the time to really understand what's happening. And let me tell you something. The growth that happens during the slower, more thoughtful moments is what makes you capable of handling success when it finally comes. And let's talk about failure for a second, because it's all part of the journey. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to experience times when things don't go as planned. But that's just life. It's not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a part of the process. And those failures, they're not the end of your story. They're the lessons you need to learn in order to succeed in the future. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Don't let failure knock you down for too long. Instead, view it as a valuable experience that's teaching you something important, something you can carry with you moving forward. You see, success isn't just about achieving things. It's about becoming the person you need to be in order to sustain that success. And that takes time. It takes time to build the right habits, to develop the skills, and to cultivate the mindset necessary to reach your goals. If you rush through the process, you might hit a milestone, but it won't be as fulfilling because you haven't truly grown into the person who deserves that success. You haven't learned the lessons that would make you able to handle the pressures of success when they come. So if you feel behind, slow down, take a breath. Understand that you're exactly where you need to be right now. The only thing you need to focus on is the next step, no matter how small it might feel. Don't get distracted by the pace at which others are moving. Focus on your own progress, your own growth, and your own journey. The reality is, life is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's those consistent, steady steps that will get you to the finish line, stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. When you allow yourself the grace to move at your own pace, you'll find that not only does the pressure begin to lift, but you also begin to enjoy the process. You begin to see each small achievement as a victory. You start to appreciate the growth you're experiencing in the moment, rather than focusing on some far-off future destination. You learn to enjoy the journey, to be present in each step, and in doing so you become stronger and more confident. Number 9. Your potential is greater than you think. It's easy to underestimate just how much potential you truly have. We go through life, sometimes battling our insecurities, doubting ourselves, questioning whether we're capable of achieving the things we want, and wondering if we're ever going to reach that next level. But here's the truth that you need to hear right now. Your potential is far greater than you think. No matter what you've been through, no matter where you've come from, you have abilities inside of you that are waiting to be tapped into. You have the potential to accomplish things that might feel impossible at this moment. You just have to believe it. We've all been conditioned, whether it's through our upbringing, society, or past experiences, to limit ourselves. We've been taught to play it safe, to stay in our comfort zones, to avoid risks, and to accept the boundaries others have set for us. But the reality is, these boundaries are not set in stone. They're not permanent. They are simply lines we've drawn for ourselves based on what we've been taught or what we've believed about ourselves up until this point. And I want to challenge you today. I want you to challenge those boundaries. I want you to step outside of the box you've been living in and realize just how much more you're capable of. Every day you wake up with endless opportunities ahead of you. But sometimes those opportunities seem so distant or out of reach because of the doubts you carry with you. It's easy to get stuck in a cycle of negative self-talk. You think to yourself, I'm not good enough. I don't have the skills. I'm not as talented as others. But let me ask you this. Have you ever stopped to consider how far you've already come? Have you ever taken a moment to look back at all the obstacles you've already overcome in your life? The challenges you've faced, the hardships you've endured, and the lessons you've learned. These things have shaped you into the person you are today. And if you've made it this far, what does that tell you about your potential? It tells you that you're stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you think. The truth is, you are not defined by your past. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not dictate your future. You have the ability to create new stories, to rewrite the narrative, and to chart a new course for yourself. Don't let the mistakes you've made, the failures you've experienced, or the setbacks you've faced hold you back. Those are simply part of the journey. They are not the end. They are the lessons that prepare you for something greater. And if you let them, they will push you forward, not hold you back. The most successful people didn't get to where they are because they were special or had some sort of innate ability that you don't have. No, they got there because they didn't stop. They didn't quit when things got tough. They kept pushing through the doubt, the fear, and the challenges, one step at a time. They trusted that their potential was greater than the obstacles in front of them. And that's what I need you to understand. You have that same potential, you just need to trust in it. You need to stop letting your fears dictate your actions and start letting your belief in yourself lead the way. There's no magic moment when everything clicks into place. There's no single moment when you suddenly become capable of achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. It doesn't work that way. Success is built on small, consistent actions. It's built on pushing yourself just a little bit further than you did yesterday. It's built on showing up day after day, even when it feels like nothing is changing. And in time, those small actions will add up to something big. But it all starts with believing that you have the potential to make it happen. You see, it's not about having everything figured out. It's not about being perfect. It's about the willingness to keep going, even when you don't have all the answers. It's about having the faith to keep showing up and doing the work, even when the results aren't immediate. And this is where most people get stuck. They give up too soon. They stop believing in their potential when things get tough, or when the results don't come as quickly as they expect. But the key to unlocking your potential is to stay committed, to stay focused, and to keep moving forward, even when it feels like progress is slow. The only person standing in the way of your success is you. You have the power to change your life, to achieve your goals, and to create the future you want. The question is, will you believe in yourself enough to take action? Will you trust in your own potential, even when it feels scary, uncertain, or uncomfortable? You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly how everything will unfold. But what you do need is a deep belief in your own abilities. You need to understand that you are capable of achieving great things. And when you believe that, when you truly embrace your potential, that's when everything starts to shift. That's when the opportunities will start to appear, when the right people will come into your life, and when you'll begin to see the results of all the hard work you've put in. Your potential is unlimited. There is no limit to what you can accomplish, except the limits you place on yourself. And I know it might be hard to see it now, but once you start believing in your own potential, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. So don't sell yourself short. Don't hold back. Don't let fear, doubt, or insecurity stop you from reaching for more. You are capable of so much more than you can imagine. Number 10, prove yourself right every day. You've heard it before and you'll hear it again. Never stop fighting. It's not just a catchy phrase, it's the truth. Life will challenge you, it will test you, and at times, it will seem like the obstacles are insurmountable. But here's the thing, success doesn't come to those who give up. It doesn't come to those who back down when things get tough. Success comes to those who keep going, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times they fall. Success is waiting for you, but it's up to you to keep fighting for it. I get it. Sometimes it feels like you've been fighting for so long, and the results just aren't coming fast enough. You might feel like you're giving your all, but you're still not seeing the rewards. It's frustrating, it's discouraging, and sometimes it feels like you're the only one in the battle. But here's what I want you to know. You're not alone. And that fight you're in right now is shaping you into the person you need to become to achieve your dreams. Every single challenge, every obstacle, every setback, those are all part of the process. They're all lessons that will help you grow stronger and more resilient. You see, it's easy to give up when things aren't going the way you planned. It's easy to throw in the towel and walk away when it feels like everything is against you. But if you do that, you'll never know how close you were to breaking through. You'll never know what could have been on the other side of that struggle. Because here's the truth. Breakthrough doesn't come to those who quit. Breakthrough comes to those who keep pushing. Even when they're exhausted, even when it feels like nothing is working. Breakthrough comes to those who refuse to give up. So I need you to dig deep. I need you to look inside yourself and find that strength that's been there all along. You have it. You might not feel it right now, but it's there. You've made it through every hard day before this one, and that proves that you have the strength to keep going. You might feel worn out. You might feel like you're running on empty. But let me tell you something, you have reserves within you that you haven't even tapped into yet. You just have to reach for them. You just have to remind yourself that you're capable of more than you realize. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. There will be days when it feels like you've been knocked down so many times that you can't possibly get back up again. But that's exactly when you need to rise. That's when you need to show the world. And more importantly, show yourself that you're not done. Every time you get up, you get stronger. Every time you keep fighting, you get closer to your goals. Every time you refuse to quit, you make progress, even if it's just one small step at a time. I want you to think about something for a moment. Think about the person you admire most. Maybe it's someone who's built a successful career. Maybe it's someone who's overcome incredible personal challenges. Or maybe it's someone who's simply been a constant source of inspiration in your life. Now think about how they got to where they are. Was it easy for them? Did they just wake up one day with everything they wanted? No. They faced struggles, they fought battles, and they refused to quit, even when things seemed impossible. What makes them remarkable is that they kept going, no matter what. And that's what makes you remarkable too. You have that same ability, you just need to believe it. There will be times when you doubt yourself. There will be moments when you question whether all the hard work is worth it. You might feel like you're spinning your wheels, like you're giving everything you have and getting nothing in return. But that's when it's most important to keep going. That's when you have to remind yourself why you started in the first place. That's when you have to dig even deeper and find the strength to push through. Because the only way to fail is to quit. If you keep going, no matter how difficult it gets, you will eventually succeed. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But success isn't just about reaching the finish line. It's about what you become in the process. The person who gets to the top is not the same person who started at the bottom. The journey is what transforms you. It's what builds your character, your resilience, your strength. And that transformation is priceless. So even when the path is tough, even when it feels like you're going backward, know that every step you take is changing you. Every day you keep fighting, you're becoming more of the person you need to be to handle the success that's coming your way. I know it can be tough to see the light at the end of the tunnel when you're in the middle of a dark moment. I know it's hard to believe that success is waiting for you when the road ahead seems so uncertain. But trust me when I tell you that it's there. Your success, your breakthrough, your dreams, they're all waiting for you to keep going. They're just on the other side of this struggle. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward. Even when it feels like the world is telling you to stop. Even when you feel like you're at your breaking point. Remember that the greatest rewards come to those who never stop fighting.